easy. Just go down Highway 75. Then look for the giant frozen custard cone on the wall.
I don't know what happened there. All right, 25 minutes before 11 o'clock, and not a bad-looking Monday. I guess when I promised you this morning it wouldn't rain till later on today, I wonder if I'm going to be proven wrong. Looks like it might want to start to rain again, huh? Boy, there was so much rain on the Gulf Coast, the local Gulf Coast. I don't know about the whole state of Florida, but right there over in Citrus County and Levy County, they had some schools closed today because of the rain. Levy
and Dixie County.
Dixie County is what I meant to say.
Yeah.
That, I think every school is closed in Dixie County.
I think so.
Today.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
All that flooding they had, like you said this morning.
Wow. So today is National Ballpark Vendor Day. I didn't know if you knew that.
Time Out Billiards and Grill.
What?
That's right, Billiards and Grill. Located on Pine between the police department and Rawhide in Ocala. Come in and enjoy some great food from the grill 12 till 8 p.m. Then shoot some pool anytime from 12 noon till 2 a.m. Time Out Billiards and Grill even has happy hour from 2 till 7 p.m. There's more fun on weekdays, Monday to Friday. It's free pool for everyone from noon till 4 p.m. Time Out Billiards and Grill. Questions? Call 352-444-POOL.
I just wanted to hear myself read another ad.
I know, it's a labeling.
All right, so today is National Baseball Park Vendor Appreciation Day. Who knew there was such a thing, right?
Yeah.
So this is take me out to the ball game.
I want to go to a game now. I gotta have a hot dog.
So if you are, if you've ever gone to any ball game, there's always that guy or gal that will be walking around with some kind of a tray hanging off of their neck, right?
Oh, yeah.
And in that tray is, you name it, is anything from a hot dog to a drink to
Cotton candy.
And how that all works is pretty amazing. There's a lot behind that. And how do I know, Robin? I never did it, so it's not that I can say that. But I actually worked with those guys.
Yeah.
And so I would see these guys at the Nassau Coliseum, and their job was to sell, you name it, peanuts or sodas or beer. Beer was a big one, as always. I remember there was a taco guy who walked up and down the aisles. I remember the hot dog guy, of course. Just you name it. There were things when the Pope was. I wasn't there for the Pope. The Pope was the Pope story is from Yankee Stadium. I did not work there.
Oh gosh.
But that guy was hawking. Is that the word, hawking? Hawking.
Hawking.
What do you call it? Oh, Robin, what do you call those beads again?
Oh, rosary.
Rosary beads. Thank you.
Rosary
I was
beads.
distracted by whatever was going on out there.
Rosary beads.
Yeah.
That's why I shut the door.
So anyway, so it's not a one-man operation. It looks like it is, but the guy that you see standing at the in the aisle tossing hot dogs to people, and sometimes they did toss hot dogs to people.
Yeah.
They would. Of course, if it's popcorn or something, you have to hand it down. But the hot dogs are always in an aluminum foil wrap, right?
Yeah, they were always like nobody could, take a bite by accident and then pass it down the road there because everything was closed up. Yeah, they could toss them.
So, and sometimes the money was tossed also.
Yeah, or passed down. I mean, people are honest at ball games when you're buying food and you pass that money down, then you get change and they pass it back.
How many people know? And I know you know the answer to this, Robin, so don't answer.
Oh.
But how many people know? Let's say you bought a hot dog, right? And the hot dog was $4.50.
Yeah.
And you're going to give the guy a $5 bill, and you call out to the guy, here you go, Subway. He goes, here's the money, and then the word Subway.
Yeah, I learned that from you.
You know what that means.
I didn't know what it was.
How many of you out there know what that meant? Now, this might have been just a local thing that I knew in New York. I don't know. But if somebody handed you more than you needed, and the word Subway was said, should I tell him?
Yeah.
It meant it's a tip. The word Subway was meant as a tip and it was shared not just with you, the guy who was the vendor, but also with the three guys. It was usually three guys downstairs cooking hot dogs or putting souvenirs together or whatever, and all those racks that those guys would have to wear were all waiting for them. So they'd go up to the crowd. and they would try their best to sell everything in the rack. Then they would go back downstairs, get another rack, put it on, and go back up to their section, whatever section they had agreed to work in.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I learned that word from you. That makes sense.
The hot dog cooking, the little rack that they wore was always filled by other people.
Yeah.
And so when you got a Subway or a tip, you would have to share it with them. That was kind of the honor system. Where everybody, and the reason it was called Subway was because typically, especially in the Bronx, which is where Yankee Stadium is, typically the people who were working the stadium were kids or retirees, one or the other, and they didn't have a whole lot of extra money to get to work, so they had to ride the subway to work. So there was a little extra cash for the subway, and it usually went way above what they actually needed. But it was the whole idea of here's a few extra pennies so you can pay for your subway ride that it took to get here.
That's cool? Pretty amazing. Very cool.
All right, so on National Baseball Stadium Vendor Day, I want to tell you some of the most famous baseball vendors. You didn't know there were any, did you?
No, I did not. So
let me tell you about Roger Owens. Roger Owens was a Dodger Stadium icon. He celebrated 50 years as a vendor. He could toss a bag of peanuts under his leg or behind his back to a fan seated 30 rows away.
Wow, how cool is this?
He had a reputation for being very accurate with his peanut throwing. He was known as the peanut guy. He began his career at the age of 15 when he sold soda at the LA Coliseum to help earn his family grocery money.
Oh my gosh, how wonderful is that?
And then when Dodger Stadium opened up in 1962, the former high school pitcher, that's what he was, he was selling peanuts and honing his bag throwing skills at home. Owens began to showcase his skills in the stands, and before long became known as the peanut guy. So just picture what happened to this guy. He had a dream of being a baseball player, so got a job at a baseball stadium.
Wow.
And that dream of being a baseball player never happened, but he did become well known for his throwing skills. Isn't that amazing?
That is amazing. That's really amazing. I think that's pretty cool he's recognized.
Roger Owens made 4 appearances on The Tonight Show.
Oh my gosh, how fun. How fun.
The first was in 1976. It was September 1976. And... trying to see if I'm missing phone calls. It says I'm missing phone calls. 1976.
Wonder if it's something that's glitchy.
Maybe something's glitchy.
Because I don't see anything on there.
I don't see anything either.
Wow. Well, I know Galen called in this morning.
But anyway, so
we'll see.
So he was on Johnny Carson's Tonight Show, 1976. He attempted to do an under-the-leg toss on the Tonight Show, but as accurate as he wasn't accurate that day. Actually hit himself in the crotch.
Oh no, he must have been nervous.
Remember, Jimmy Carter was also known for peanuts.
To be nervous.
So
yes,
Jimmy Carter invited Owens to toss peanuts at the presidential inauguration in 1977. Roger Owens' celebrity has grown since then, while he continues to delight fans in the second deck along the third baseline at Dodger Stadium. Owens has taken his peanut-tossing act to stadiums throughout the country and even overseas. In 2004, Owens' nephew Daniel Green published a biography titled The Perfect Pitch.
Nice.
How about that?
Cool.
How about that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
The guy you could tell wanted to become a famous baseball player, and instead he became a famous peanut thrower.
Yeah, at the baseball game.
Roger Owens, one of the most famous baseball stadium vendors on my list.
Good for you, Roger.
On National Baseball Stadium Vendor Appreciation Day. All right,
nice.
The next one is Walter McNeil. They knew him as Wally. They also knew him as the Beer Man. McNeil took a part-time job as a beer vendor at the Metrodome in 1982. He was one of the few vendors to be featured on the NBC Nightly News.
Oh my.
And in an issue of Sports Illustrated. McNeil developed a huge following among Twins supporters who came to recognize his shouts of "Beer here!" Well, beer here.
Minnesota Twins. Wow.
That's in part thanks to a baseball card picturing himself that he would hand out. He had a baseball card of himself. McNeil worked as an operations manager for a pharmaceutical firm by day, but he became a Minnesota celebrity in the 27 years that he has sold beer during the Twins, Vikings, and Golden Gophers games at the Metrodome.
Wow. Now, this would be a cool bucket list thing, to go to the baseball stadiums just to meet these guys. I think that would be pretty amazing, because it's such a talent, and they have fun doing it, and they're respected. You know, all of the fans will respect them, and I'll bet you they got camera shots of them, and you get your photos taken with them, and you see videos with them in action. That's pretty amazing. So kudos to these guys. I just think it's pretty amazing. I would love to go to a baseball stadium knowing that one of these guys are going to be there, just to meet them. I would.
Well,
I think that would be neat.
Who was the guy that recently died that used to be at the Gators games? Mr. Tubitz.
Yes.
Now, he wasn't a vendor, but he also had a following and a certain amount of celebrity. Everybody
looked forward to him, Mr. Tubitz.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. And you don't really set out to be somebody like that. It just happens. And your personality has got to have a lot to do with that also.
All right, let me tell you about another vendor at a baseball stadium on this day. What is it again? It's National Baseball Stadium Vendor Appreciation Day.
Yep.
Okay, the next guy is Mark Rosenberg. He's known as the lemonade shaking guy.
Oh.
When Mark Rosenberg agreed to work a few games at Baltimore's Oriole Park in Camden Yards as a favor for a friend in 1996...
Camden Yards, I know where that is.
He thought he'd be working behind a counter. You know where Camden Yards is?
Well, isn't that where that walkway is built?
It's Baltimore.
I'm thinking about New York.
Yeah.
What is that called?
No.
Something Yards. Oh, it's Something Yards. Okay, so
Hudson. That's called Hudson
Yards.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is I've never been to Camden Yards.
Two different things.
No.
Anyway, he thought he'd be working behind a counter when he first took the job in 1996. Instead, he was charged with selling lemonade in the upper deck.
Okay.
3 days into the job, he became so annoyed with the kids yelling to get his attention that he put his tray down and did what any self-respecting guy would do. He shook his body violently. The fans loved it. And Rosenberg adopted the shaking routine as his shtick.
Oh, that is so cool. I bet he sold more lemonade than anybody. Wow.
It was not unusual for people to give him $20 tips at the ballpark, and eventually parlayed his part-time diversion into a second career as a motivational speaker,
Good for him.
an auctioneer, a performer, and he appeared regularly at private parties and corporate functions. He's not only the Stadium Lemonade guy to start his own business, he's Kansas City's Jesus Choi Gomez.
Nice.
He launched a concessions business in 2005 after working 6 years at Kaufman Stadium, where he announced his presence with distinct shouts of "Lemonade! Lemonade!"
And then he shook.
He shook.
Oh, how cool is that? And $20 tips. That is so neat.
There you go.
You see, he's very entrepreneurial. We need that.
Now, the next guy,
the people.
the next guy might have a relative in the sanitation department in New York City.
Okay.
I don't know. But the next guy is Charlie Marcuse.
Okay.
He's known as Opera Man.
Oh.
For the last 11 seasons, Charlie Marcuse has sold hot dogs at Detroit Tigers Stadium, singing the words hot dog in operatic falsetto.
Oh, now can you do that?
Hot dogs. I don't know. Marcuse, who started vending at Tiger Stadium when he was 19 years old, appeared on Good Morning America in 2004 after a few stadium critics tried to silence him.
Of course, there's always the naysayers.
Marcuse's supporters started a Free Charlie campaign and a website to support the former acting student, and he was eventually allowed to resume his singing routine on a limited 4 times a game basis.
Wow, this is great. I love that.
He makes a bag. You wonder how much he makes?
$100,000 a year? I'm just guessing.
$400 per game.
Wow.
Selling hot dogs.
Isn't that great?
$400 per game. Marcuse works for a men's clothing retailer in his other life. He continues to develop his company, Charlie's Food Incorporated. His first product, Charlie's Ballpark Mustard, debuted in 2008 and is currently available in more than 60 stores and restaurants in the Detroit area.
Oh, now I got to get one of those.
Fans at Comerica Park won't find Marcuse's mustard at the concession stands, however, as Marcuse does not want to risk offending the vending company that employs him.
Oh, good for him. He has scruples. Excellent job, sir. Excellent.
The next vendor we want to acknowledge, famous for being a baseball stadium vendor, is Brent Doden, also known as Captain Earthman.
Oh, okay.
Fans in the bleachers at Denver's Coors Field, Captain Earthman is only a phone call away. The veteran beer vendor, who has been described as an intergalactic space hippie, hands out cards with his phone number on it and a planetary location number.
What's that, an address? It's a fancy name for an address.
I don't know.
My planetary location is... Oh, I love that.
Doden wears peanut earrings, black gloves, and a variety of crazy hats. He revealed the origins of his nickname to the Denver Post in 2000. He says, we were all sitting around drinking, smoking about 24 years ago.
Of course.
He said, I ended up with a pipe in one hand and a joint in the other and a beer in front of me. And I said, if it's from the Earthman, I'll smoke it.
Excellent.
The rest is history, much like the cans of Budweiser that Doden has carried up and down the outfield bleachers of Coors Field since 1995.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, the next baseball stadium vendor that we want to honor is Clarence Haskett, also known as Fancy Clancy.
Ooh, I like the name.
Fancy Clancy Haskett has sold beer, Robin.
Pantsless for fancy.
He's entertained fans for 3 decades at Orioles home games.
Oh, my.
If you happen to be there on a good day and tip early and often, he'll start you a tab. A Baltimore City paper tagged along with Clancy during a game in 2004 and got to witness his signature move, a backbend over the handrail while handing out bottles of beer.
Wow. Wow. How amazing is that?
His slogan? If you want it served fancy, you got to get it from Clancy.
Oh, I love that. That is so great.
In addition to working local stadiums, Haskett is also vice president of All Pro Vending, which is the vending management company that won a contract to supply vendors for M&T Bank Stadium, home of NFL's Baltimore Ravens. So
wonderful. Isn't that cool?
These are not losers, these guys selling beer and peanuts.
No, they're not takers, they're givers in every way.
Perry Hahn is the next famous baseball stadium vendor we want to feature. He's also known as Robo Vendor.
So you wear a costume of a vending machine, or what does he do?
Let's see. Is someone trying to call in?
I don't know.
I have a hard time with the phone today. In order to make up for what he calls his lack of talent, Hahn put his mechanical engineering degree to use. The University of Maryland graduate works at stadiums in the Washington, D.C. area. He started to design a contraption to help expedite the beer opening process while working at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium in 1991. His latest version of the device shears the lids off of 2 beer cans at once.
Wow. The whole lid comes off.
The Robo Vendor, as Hahn's fans and colleagues sometimes call him, can open and pour 2 beers in 6 seconds. He estimates that he spent $4,500 to develop and patent his device, which once helped him sell 25 cases during a single game.
I got to get one of those. This is amazing. What a talent.
I got 2 more to tell you about.
Twist off bottles, look out.
These are the famous baseball stadium vendors, because today is National Baseball Stadium Vendor Appreciation Day. Okay. There's Dan Ferroni. He's known as the Chicago Original.
Okay.
Ferroni made $2 selling soda on his first day as a vendor at Wrigley Field in 1938.
Oh, my gosh.
He watched the Yankees sweep the Cubs in the World Series that year.
Oh, my gosh.
For the next 57 years, Ferroni hawked soda, beers, peanut, and programs at Chicago's baseball mecca before leaving the job late in the 1995 season. During that time, Ferroni, who was a military veteran who moved into the Oak Park YMCA in 1960, worked 30 years as a Postal Service employee and 11 more at a bank.
Oh, my.
He began vending full-time in 1981, working both Cubs and White Sox games for several years before eventually giving up his gig on the South Side. Ferroni sold programs at Wrigley Field in the seasons leading up to his retirement and often said he hoped to be the first vendor elected to baseball's Hall of Fame.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's his.
Oh, my goodness.
And the last one I have is Leslie Flake, simply known as the beer guy.
Oh.
Flake tells you everything you need to know about him in his booming sales pitch. He says, I'm not the milkman. He's the milkman. He's not the tax man. He's the beer guy.
I love that. The beer guy. This is great.
He is a staple at Cleveland Indians home game and has been there for years. So
yeah, I like the Earth guy too. He's pretty cool. It comes for the Earth to it. This is so cool. I never knew about these guys. It's pretty amazing.
It's funny how people will have a claim to fame because they just do something that gets them a little bit of attention, right?
Yeah, and they don't set out to get attention. They just all of a sudden do it. Like the backbend guy, he just thought, well, I'll make this more interesting.
I think it is for attention.
Hang over the rail.
I think it is for attention. It's almost like a publicity stunt for the moment, you know?
Yeah, but then it morphs itself into something that's ongoing for a lot of decades.
I can't tell you how many people are looking forward to me sleeping on the edge of a building, by the way.
I bet you've been getting some emails about that.
I've been getting some, yeah. People say, don't forget to make sure you put up a net. You know, one guy just said that was the funniest thing I ever heard. Some other people are concerned that I'm going to fall.
Well, what charity are you going to do this for, and when are you going to do it?
It's all fake. I'm not really doing it.
Yeah, but I can see a couple of building lips right here at the mall. We could set you up there with we'll get one of the mattress companies to donate a mattress and a pillow.
I could sleep right there on the edge. I would not fall off because I never fall out of bed.
I know. That's why I'm looking at that. We'll get a mattress company. They'll donate the mattress and the pillow.
I honestly don't think.
And the blankets. You said you needed one of those. We'll get the fire department to put one of those bouncy blow-up things on the ground.
Right.
And in case you do fall off, you'll bounce a little bit first before hitting the splatting.
Oh, my gosh.
We got to find a charity now.
Yeah.
To do this.
Habitat for Humanity. How about that one?
Okay.
Hey, if you are looking for a home and you would like to go to Habitat for Humanity and find out how that actually works, don't forget this coming Saturday over at the library, the public library here in Ocala, they are having a lady who's going to make a presentation to teach you how you can buy your own home with some help from the folks over at Habitat for Humanity. If you go this Saturday, you might be owning your own home in 18 months. Mm-hmm. All right?
Okay.
That's not too long. That's not too short. That's a nice amount of time. What you'll need is to currently be in substandard living conditions. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what that means. You'll also need to have an ability to pay an affordable mortgage. Remember, the mortgages at Habitat do not have interest on them, so you're paying back exactly what it costs to build a house. Mm-hmm. And you have to have a willingness to partner. In other words, you're going to be helping build other people's homes in order to qualify for your own home. But don't worry, because when it's time to build your home, other people will also be volunteering to help build your home. It's a program that Habitat for Humanity has been doing for a very, very long time. And the folks here in Marion County took up this ministry and decided to make it even better than it was. So go this Saturday, 11 a.m. to the Marion County Public Library headquarters at 2720 East Silver Springs Boulevard and find out how you can get a house of your own. And if you want to help them and you want to have some fun doing it, there's a bowling event, a bowl-a-thon.
Yep.
Happening on September 22nd, which is a Sunday.
Yep.
And I guess you'd have to call them to find out the details. It's $25 a bowler, and the number is 351-4663. The two beautiful ladies that were just here, Joanne and Tori, will be able to help you out with that. 351-4663. All right, we'll take a little break and be right back. Peanuts, I got you, peanuts. Wait a minute. Where's my song here? Here we go. All right, we'll be right back.
Honey Baked Ham at 2709 Southwest 27th Avenue has new management. For our listeners, they're offering a 10% discount. Just mention this ad.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source. WOCA. Ocala.
Fox News, I'm Lillian Wu. The president's inner circle trying to calm fears of a recession this morning, also blowing off accusations the trade war with Beijing is hurting our economy. This is Chinese telecom Huawei gets a reprieve.
There is another 90 days for the U.S. telecom companies. Some of the rural companies are dependent on Huawei, so we're giving them a little more time to wean themselves off.
Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross on the Fox Business Network. The search intensifies for firefighters missing on a fishing trip since Friday.
Over the weekend, at least 50 Jacksonville firefighters volunteered to assist the Coast Guard in what has been a massive search. The missing firefighters are Justin Walker and Brian McClooney. Walker lives and works in Fairfax, Virginia, and McClooney lives in Jacksonville.
Fox's Phil Keating. America is listening to Fox News.
Pros like you expect more out of the brands you use every day. Lowe's gets it. It's why we stock the best brands so you can get the job done right every time. And now we're offering Pro customers a chance to give one of those brands a try for free. Right now, Pros can get up to 10 gallons of Valspar paint absolutely free and experience firsthand how Valspar delivers a smooth application and reliable color for all your touch-up work. Take your next paint job to the next level. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Valid in Orlando and Phoenix stores only. Requires return authorization number. See Pro Desk for details.
At CarMax, when we say we buy all the cars, we mean it. Over the last 20 years, we've purchased millions of cars from coast to coast. In the last year alone, we bought a mountain of Mercurys, an armada of Nissans, a ton of Titans, an ocean of Pacificas, and a sea of Siennas. Not to mention a few Hellcats and a couple of Tornadoes. So no matter what you're selling, CarMax is buying. And we'll buy your car even if you don't buy ours. CarMax. We buy all the cars.
AccuSleep offers a safe and effective medical option for those who suffer from sleep disorders of all kinds. AccuSleep makes restoring healthy sleep patterns possible. No medication, no surgery, just good sound sleep. Mend your sleep so you can stop counting sheep. Experience restorative sleep at AccuSleep, the acupuncture sleep clinic in Ocala by calling 352-615-5566.
Get it for less at the DIY Home Center outlet. Get top quality real wood cabinets the same or less than the big box stores are selling the cheap stuff. And that's not all. Drywall screws big box stores are $6.47 a pound. At DIY, only $4.99. Plus, DIY has the largest selection of mobile home parts and accessories anywhere. From carpet to doors, get the DIY supplies you need for less. The DIY Home Center outlet. We are your building material closeout store. 2191 Northwest 10th Street, just 2 miles east of I-75.
Here are today's headlines from The Source, WOCA. Some residents west of Dunellen in rural Citrus County were stuck in their homes, and others were looking for a new place to live yesterday after a main roadway to their homes flooded, and heavy rain and flooding has closed some schools in Levy and Dixie counties. Dixie County officials have announced that all county schools will be closed due to flooding in the area. In Levy County, because of heavy rainfall and localized flooding, Cedar Key schools are also closed, and in Yankeetown, a few buses will be running an abbreviated route schedule today and tomorrow. According to information from the Levy County School District, drivers will contact parents in flooded areas who may need to deliver their students to the nearest main road or designated stop where they can be picked up. Almost 900 jellyfish stings were reported at Volusia County beaches over the weekend. Beach law enforcement officials said. Volusia Beach Safety Ocean Rescue Captain Tamara Malfers said 316 people were treated for jellyfish stings yesterday. On Saturday, 579 jellyfish stings were reported on Volusia County beaches. To put the numbers in perspective, only 42 stings were reported Thursday. On the 4th of July holiday, 108 stings occurred. And on June 6th, there were only 70. Beach safety officials were not able to say whether the number of reported stings Saturday or this weekend set a record. July and August are the most common months for big numbers of stings. Anyone stung by a jellyfish should exit the water and flag down a lifeguard truck or go to a staffed tower. Jellyfish stings can be painful, and a lifeguard can rinse the area with vinegar, which is a common treatment. Authorities say a Florida man has been arrested and accused of threatening a mass shooting in text messages. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says the 25-year-old man from Daytona Beach sent several text messages stating he wanted to break a world record for the longest confirmed kill ever. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says in another message he texted that he wanted to kill 100 victims and had decided on a location. It was unclear who the man was texting or how deputies obtained the information. Authorities say he was arrested Friday at a supermarket in Daytona Beach Shores on a charge of making written threats to kill. The sheriff's news release says he told detectives he did not own a firearm but was fascinated with mass shootings. However, weapons and ammunition were found in his apartment. Florida's iconic palm trees are under attack from a fatal disease that turns them to dried crisps in months with no chance of recovery once they become ill. Spread by a rice-sized plant-hopping insect, lethal bronzing has gone from a small infestation on Florida's Gulf Coast to a nearly statewide problem in just over a decade. Tens of thousands of palm trees have died from the bacterial disease, and the pace of its spread is increasing, adding to environmental woes of a state already struggling to save its other iconic tree, the citrus tree, from two other diseases. Florida's official state tree, the tall, broad-leafed sable palm, is especially susceptible, and Florida nurseries, businesses, and homeowners are taking a financial hit as they scrap infected palms. Some preventive measures can be taken, but once infected, uprooting the tree is the only practical solution. She has been called Jeffrey Epstein's madam, the woman who recruited girls for his sexual appetites, and at times his social planner and household organizer in places ranging from New York to Palm Beach, Florida. 57-year-old Ghislaine Maxwell, the daughter of a British publishing magnate who died under mysterious circumstances, is one of the most prominent figures left from the Epstein orbit after his suicide in jail while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. And she could well be a co-conspirator now in the crosshairs of federal prosecutors who have made clear the case is far from over. If I were drafting an indictment against her, it would be the same conspiracy to traffic in underage minors. That statement from David S. Weinstein, a former federal prosecutor now in private practice in Miami. He went on to say, that's what it is conspiracy. Authorities say a Florida man used a front-end loader to dump a large bucket full of dirt onto a car with his girlfriend inside. The Okaloosa County Sheriff's Office says 20-year-old Hunter Mills was charged with felony criminal mischief. The girlfriend was not hurt. The Sheriff's Office says Mills invited his girlfriend to talk with him at a dirt pit in Crestview, Florida, where he worked. Officials say the girlfriend arrived in a white sedan owned by someone else, and after he asked her a question, he used a front-end loader to dump a mound of dirt on top of the car. The Sheriff's Office posted a photograph on social media showing dirt piled on top of the car and spilling across the driver's seat and elsewhere. An attorney for Mills was not listed in jail records related to the arrest. Jury selection begins today in two high-profile trials in Pinellas County. Michael Drejka is on trial for the shooting death of Marquise McLaughlin. Drejka says he was standing his ground when he shot McLaughlin in a fight over a handicapped parking space. Meanwhile, in Osceola County, Marine Corps veteran Everett Glenn Miller goes on trial in the murders of Kissimmee Police Sergeant Sam Howard and Officer Matthew Baxter. Miller could get the death penalty. City commissioners in Sarasota take a final vote today on an ordinance partially banning styrofoam cups and containers and plastic straws.
The ban applies only to events held on city property and city contractors, thanks to state law.
We can't do anything privately or with our cities, only on city properties.
Jenna Hafling with Rethinking Plastic says plastic waste is a hazard to wildlife. State law says cities can't ban polystyrene. A bill to outlaw local straw bans was vetoed by Governor DeSantis. I'm Gordon Bird.
Floating debris is responsible for briefly raising hopes in the search for two missing firefighters. The Coast Guard searched the waters off northeast Florida yesterday for Jacksonville firefighter Brian McClooney and a fellow firefighter from Virginia. There was hope when a pilot reported seeing debris in the water, but the Coast Guard says the cooler and life jackets did not belong to the two. One child and several adults have been injured in a drive-by shooting in southwest Miami-Dade. The shooting took place around 2 this morning at the home near Southwest 118th Avenue and 220th Street. The injured child is at Jackson Memorial Hospital South in stable condition. The adults, also taken to the same hospital, are in critical condition. Classes are canceled at the HCI College campus near West Palm Beach after a car drove through the building. Administrative offices are open and the cleanup at the main campus is underway. HCI hopes to have normal classes tomorrow. The head of the NRA in Florida is speaking out against the proposed constitutional amendment that would ban assault weapons in Florida.
30 days after the election, every manufacturer, retailer, pawn shop, and holder of a federal firearms license is in trouble.
Marion Hammer told state economists the proposal is so vague that nearly every gun would be outlawed. A key member of the Miami Dolphins plans to continue taking a knee during the national anthem, wide receiver Kenny Stills making that announcement on Instagram. An alligator hunter is in the hospital after one of the reptiles attacked him in the Three Forks Marsh Conservation Area in Brevard.